Support for this podcast is brought to you by Market Squawk, powered by livesquawk.co.uk for all your on-demand data needs, whether you're trading crypto, FX, commodities, whatever. You know, things are getting a little bit crazy at the minute. Anyone could nick a couple of extra quid. Market Squawk, powered by livesquawk.co.uk. Our other sponsor tonight is X-Brain for basically any supplements that you could need. Collagen, whey protein, hemp protein. They've got their own CBD line. They're doing good. Enter promo code Fighting Words at checkout to save 30%. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a little bit different tonight. I'm flying solo, but we got the Triple E with the double R, and we're up in the place. The engine, Ekow Essuman. How are you doing, guys?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Oh, mate, thrilled to have you. Listen, anytime we get a British Commonwealth bad man, is easy, you know. So let's dive straight in. So fighting in April, defending the Brit.
Yeah.
Are we gonna go? Are you gonna try and keep that belt? Because that belt, like, I want a Moody replica one. Obviously, you've earned yours the hard way. I can buy a naughty one, just have it on the side. But it's one of the most beautiful belts in boxing for sure, and it's just got like a level of prestige that, like, there's something about it, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I'd see it every now and again before fighting for it, and I always used to think, oh, it's a really nice belt.
Yeah.
Then you can obviously buy replicas and whatnot, and I just thought, you know what, I don't even want to think about the belt until I win it outright for myself.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, this is my second defense, and then I'll have one more defense,
and then
I'm gonna
yours.
win it outright, so it's mine. Then move on to world honors.
Now, with the world side of things, so for you, obviously, you're on the British scene. You are a phenomenal talent. Obviously, British and Commonwealth champion. You put it this way. Let me line it up like this. Anytime a Matchroom or Sky or any other promotional entity doesn't have a top tier welterweight to fight their welterweight, you always get Frank popping up on IFL with a little smile on his face, and he's going, oh, you know, we could line him up with Ekow or David Everton, you know, Ekow, you know. Like, you're like a little bit of the apple of his eye, the boy.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. And he said that right to my manager that he'd be happy for me to fight anyone, even if it's on another promotion. Just literally go away and bring back the gold.
You know, you're in a wicked position to be in, like, the Frank loved ones pile.
Yeah.
Don't get
me wrong. I mean, I worked hard.
You've earned it, mate. You've proper earned it.
When I first turned pro, my third fight, I got signed to Frank, and it took a while to get them to notice me, because one thing being signed, but it's another thing being signed and pushed, because like they're like, oh, this guy's really got something. So I got signed, but it took a while to get the momentum, and so me and my manager and my trainer just went away, got the ball rolling, got us into English title contention. I won that, kept it to make sure that it got me mandatories, and kept the ball rolling in that respect, and kept the momentum, and that just led to the British, and then obviously the IBF and the Commonwealth.
That IBF belt used to belong to my coach, Larry Ekow.
Yeah.
Right, that's another one that's kind of a G belt as well. Like, it's just a nice belt. You know, how did you get into, like, when did you start fighting? I know you're Team GB podium. I know all that stuff. So, you know, what was your story into combat, basically?
I started late. I got into boxing when I was like, I think my first match was when I was 18.
It's quite late considering.
Yeah, like really late. I got into boxing 16, 17. I was a fat child growing up, and
Amen.
Nothing wrong with it. I was just big. And I wanted to lose the weight when I was getting into my teens. So I started trying out all kinds of sports. Started off in rugby, did a bit of cricket, joined the swimming team. This is when I was living in Botswana.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I came over to the UK, I got on like my school football team, got on a basketball team. I got to Midlands level in that. And then there was one season when I didn't get onto I had tryouts for a really well-renowned team in Nottingham. I didn't get on. They said I wasn't fit enough and I needed to be more ambidextrous. So I thought, you know what, I'll take a year out and I'll just work on those things and I'll get super fit and I'll come back and I'll be the bee's knees. And one of my mates at the time told me, you got to try out boxing for your fitness because nothing else will get you fitter than that. And yeah walked into a boxing gym with my two left feet and yeah, it just picked up from there. I started boxing as a light heavyweight.
Yeah, a light heavyweight.
Yeah, as a light heavyweight. So my first match was, I think I weighed 79 kilos. I was a little bowling ball.
Just hench.
Yeah, literally. And then I managed to get my weight down to 75 and went into a few ABAs at that and got to like Midlands, and then like when you go and fight other counties and whatnot. Then I got down to 71 when I started learning how to diet and whatnot. And then I started to beat England nationals, and I was starting to kind of get a buzz around my name. Get into like the ABA quarterfinals or semi-finals. And then there was one year where I got matched up with Anthony Fowler. And I beat him. Yeah, I beat him on a points decision. And after that, it was kind of just like a load of people from the ABA, the Amateur Boxing Council in the Midlands, were just pushing for me to get on GB. So they eventually gave me a trial, and it took 6 months. There was 46 other boxers there. 6 months of just squads, and someone will get kicked out every week, every other week, and
it's like the most intense X Factor of all time, then, isn't it?
Yeah,
like literally just elimination at all costs.
Yeah, and then it was just me and another lad, and I got the nod. So yeah,
decent.
I mean, it was good stuff. I learned a lot whilst I was on GB. Moved up to the podium squad quite fast. Within I think a year and a few months, I moved up to podium. And yeah, it gave me a wealth of experience. I got to box a wealth of different styles and whatnot. And I think at that point in my boxing career, my boxing brain hadn't really formed yet. It was kind of just like an apprenticeship where I just got to do a lot of things and see how things worked and whatnot. I hadn't quite found my style properly because it was still the mix-up of like amateur style, but then pro scoring, and then like so you didn't know where you was at with how to box to be scored properly, and if you had a pro style, then you it didn't really help you, or they weren't cutting enough body shots, and so it was just hit and miss. But after I left GB, I got with whilst I was on GB, I met my now professional coach, Barrington Brown. He used to be a professional himself. And whilst I was on GB, he came on board, he started training me, as well as my amateur coach, Ray Ricketts from Bilborough ABC. And things just started turning around. I started finding my groove, finding my style, finding what worked for me, what didn't. And then I was beating like European champions in tournaments out in the WSB, and I was fighting world number 3s, double Olympic champions, world champions, and I wasn't out of my depth at any point. So it was good stuff. But as soon as I turned pro, that was when it got to the real nitty-gritty of it, because my coach obviously put me through how he felt I boxed best, because amateurs and the pros is a completely different game. And we've just gone away with it. Obviously, English champion, British champion, Commonwealth, and IBF European. So I'm not doing
smashing
bad.
it. You're not doing bad. That's what I wanted to ask you about that on a looping back to like Frank is ready to push you he's ready to put up like you said, he's ready to have you on other people's shows. You and David, like he's ready just to push you out. He'll pay for it. Like he's willing to do that. And obviously there's not exactly many takers, which is a compliment, but one of the shittest compliments ever, in it, because it's like I get it, but also like, oh, come on.
It is
but
what
then,
it is. I always said, like, in my pro career, like there were certain people that I thought, yeah, that would be a great fight to make, or I think you learn the hard way. Like when I was English champion and chasing the British, I was thinking, well, I'm English champion, I should just get that British shot. Then I'd be calling out the guy at the time, he was the British champion. Then he just said something like, oh, just pipe down, you've got to get in line, you've got to wait your turn. And I was like dead pissed off by it, like in a huff and puff. But then it took me a while to realize it's not that simple.
No, there's a lot of politics involved. Like, there's just so many moving parts.
Yeah, you got to get yourself in the right kind of place to put forward. You can't just you win certain titles or you win certain matches, and you've got that momentum going, you're a prospect, but you still need to get your ranking up, and you still need to get in your what are they called? You got get in your
profile, or
no, not profile. In like when two people have a match to then fight a champion. Yeah, you got
the eliminator.
Yeah, you got to get those eliminators in, and then after a while, after your final eliminator, then you'll be next in line and whatnot. So it's just one of those things. You just have to play the game. You have to play the game. And one thing I realized with that is just because you want a belt that's up there doesn't mean that calling someone out is going to get you there. You have to do it the hard way and make yourself mandatory, and then you're just laughing because people can say whatever they want, but they're going to have to fight you. Yeah.
I mean, and like even like what you're saying there, like this weekend you got Mikey McKinson going up against Virgil Ortiz, right? For Mikey, he, 18 months ago, unless you were like a devout industry fan, you didn't know that name. Then he pops up on a Matchroom card, turns over Chris Congo. Now he's in that opportunity. But look, I think that he probably causes Virgil some proper problems. But that's a massive ask. You're talking about like the one that they're pushing, and like those opportunities are the ones that guys like yourself have to just be ready to do no matter what. You don't seem that fussed about like the what would always be public opinion, which would be like, the big boy from the States, etc. But you ready to go.
You can't be. I messaged him when I heard about that. I mean, I know he's another welterweight, but I messaged him like, that's wicked. Like, good on you, because like you like, not saying that I think he'll lose or whatever, but whatever's in his position, it's a win-win, because
fact. He's not supposed to win, and all he can do is put on a wicked performance and maybe win.
Yeah,
and he's a star either way, isn't it?
Either way, he smashed it. He just box how he boxes and perform well. Yeah.
So does Frank kind of roadmap out what he wants for you, and like, because from it, like I'm nearly 40. I've been a fan since I was 3. Like some of my earliest memories is like Tyson fights, etc., from when I was like young. Frank has always been around, and like Frank has always, he's a true master of the game. Like him, love him, hate him, whatever. He seems to understand, like he's playing 3D chess where everyone else is playing just regular chess, Has he got like, has he sat you down and been like, look, we got this route, this route, this route, and this route, and maybe they cross over, and here's what's going to happen after, you don't take anyone lightly, and Tetley's no joke, and it's a defense of a British title, and he's earned that defense, right, which makes him dangerous.
To be honest, the way I see it, like some people, like I was getting a bit of jip from another boxer from Derby about Tetley, and the way I see it is, whichever boxer, whichever defense I have now with the British title, that's like, it's everyone's dream to have that belt. No matter who I box, they're gonna put in like a world-class performance, because like they want it. So whoever I fight is going to be super hungry for it. And I know Tetley is a wicked boxer, and like I'm training hard for him. So well, I hope he's going to put in a wicked performance, because I'm going to put one in.
I mean, exactly. Listen, the British title fights are some of the best in boxing. Obviously, we're British, so it's always going to be like for us. But you know, like look at Dan Aziz in what, December, put in a wicked performance. Like Denzel and Linus for the middleweight British. That's an epic fight. Like it's just a long history of British title. Just it's just a beautiful competition to have. And like you must just be chuffed to be one of the crew and get into the stage where now it's world level is knocking on the door. Who, when using the amateurs and WSBs, obviously you know that Fowler still wakes up thinking about you beating him. Like he just seems that sort of guy, doesn't he? He's just like not angry, not anything, but you just know that he doesn't forget that. Like,
Yeah.
Who was like the?
If he was ever the same weight as a
he'd want a crack, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's sound though.
Yeah, he seems a geezer. So when you was pre-pro, like, did you fight any of like the big names that are around world level now?
Not necessarily world level pros. I thought, what's his name? Ronald Iglesias. He never turned pro.
Okay.
So he should have. Mohamed Rabi, he turned pro, but I've not seen much of him. He was a world champion. And Bogdan Celestial, he turned pro, but I'm not sure what happened to him. There's been a few of them. I've mixed it with Yelusinov. He had some momentum going for him, but I'm not sure what's going on with him at the moment. But I think the guys at the top now, they had probably turned over before I would have fought them in the WSB. Yeah.
Nice. With the you know, obviously I know that for a fact that you would take that Conor fight in a heartbeat, and they're doing a very good job in matching him with known / kind of known. Like Van Heerden is he's an IBO world champion. He's a good fighter. You know, Eddie will bang on about he fought Boots last, and you know, like it is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you feel that for you, because you've got the British now, Conor obviously wanted the British. They seem to have moved around it. Do you feel that you are moved around? Like, not, I don't want to say avoided, because, you know, fighters want to fight. That's something we've learned from this pod. No one calls out anyone. You're just up for anything. It's the opportunity is there. We'll do it.
Yeah. I think it's down to management and promotions. I mean, if they don't want certain fights for you at a certain point in time, it won't happen. If it doesn't make sense, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense to them. So sometimes it literally is about that. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Do I feel avoided?
Yeah.
I guess to some degree, because behind the scenes, like sometimes when some of my matches are coming up, I get told some of the names that have been offered the fight and they've turned it down. But there's a lot of factors that could go into that as well. Like it could be wrong timing for them, or they could have already got something lined up and this and that. So you can't really take too much from it. It just is what it is. It's just boxing.
Who would be your do you have any preference whatsoever at world level? Would you want the Crawfords, the Ugases? Like, is there anyone you look at and you just go, I think like I've got the beating of you?
You know what? No, not really.
No?
Like the way I see it is, like, I want to be a world champion. I'll fight whoever to get there. So I'm not gonna have this picture in my mind of, oh, I need to fight this guy because he's the guy I'll beat out of all these guys at the world level. Like you can't think like that. You just have to be ready to fight anyone, because boxing's one of those things where you just never know what's gonna happen. So just be ready to fight anyone, because that's what will happen. Like you get a last minute pull out and someone else can replace the fighter you're supposed to fight. So be the best you and do what you do.
We had Sonny Edwards on last week, and he, you know, Sonny's Sonny, right? He's a wild man on Twitter. He's funny. He is what he is, you know. He's an absolute like G of a guy, but he was saying to us like content is now king to fighters. And like for you yourself, when I was doing a little bit of research, you know, you're normally covered in your sponsors, which is beautiful. And then on YouTube, there's a couple of like mini like insight into the camps. There's, you know, the one of you guys going into the ice baths. There's the one talking about like the youth program that you do in your gym and stuff like that. So with that, because this is something of like massive interest to me, because we speak to a lot of fighters that it's not that difficult to get someone to just film, and you can do it like with your phone now. That's the beauty of it. So are you very much so like, I need to produce content, or is it like you've just offered it to someone, you know it has to happen, and you understand the importance, which is quite clear, and you just are allowing it to be developed? And like, I know you're doing stuff with my boy Jake.
Yeah.
So,
to be honest, it's a part of what I'm doing that I'm definitely gonna put a lot more effort into, say, getting not just one person but multiple people to get content for multiple parts of my life, because I do a lot of work with my other business, like interventions in schools, working with kids. And it's funny because another boxer in my gym, Derek Asazi, he like goes into schools and talks at assemblies and whatnot, and we're both there like, oh, I went into a school today and I did everything so wicked and I forgot to take pictures. And in all honesty, like, none of that really matters because you've done the work and you're helping the kids anyway.
yeah.
But in the world we live in, it's kind of like, well, if you didn't document it, it didn't happen. So people won't know about it. So in that respect, like, being the people that we are, we have to. So yeah, something that I'm going to be working a lot more on, and I'm going to get some good content going, like the one of that pre-camp. Like
that was a brilliant, like, you know, you 3 or 4 of those throughout the camp. I mean, the thing is as well, is like for you, it can, as your profile gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it becomes like a revenue stream. You know, as soon as that channel monetizes it, you know, you're not talking crazy cash, but it can start, it's just another thing. And the more, the bigger you are, the more reach that you have, the more funding you can do to help the people that you're trying to help. How important is that? Because like Nottingham, like I'm from London / Essex. Like Nottingham has always been one of those. It's on the naughtier side. It's been known as a bit stabby, should we say? On the stabbier side of things, you know, Wolverhampton was big on guns, so was Manchester, and then Nottingham was always known as a bit bladey.
It's just a violent place at times. Just like anywhere else is at times. And yeah, that's why, like, even my coach, Barrington Brown at DCT, he does like anti-knife crime classes, like 2 during the week, like on a Tuesday and Thursday. And started off, literally, we got some funding and we just put on 3 sessions for kids that might be involved in gangs and whatnot, just to show them like they can put their energy into something else and it doesn't have to be about what they normally do. And it goes a long way, because there were certain weeks where, for whatever reason, we had to shut, and then certain things happened outside of outside of the class that shouldn't have happened, and it just goes to show that if they was in the class, it wouldn't have happened. And so things like that really help. And the business that I do, KO Interventions, that really helps. We've done case studies in schools, and like we have like about a 80% turnover rate, like getting kids.
Really?
It's like you get interventions for all kinds of subjects. If people are doing really bad at maths and they think they're going to fail at maths, they'll have a maths intervention. They'll work on it until they're back on a certain kind of grade. Whereas ours is a behavior intervention, because my business partner was a behavior mentorist at a school.
Yeah.
So we literally go to a school and we say, we want the 20 worst performing behavioral students that you have. So to them, they're just like, oh my God, yeah, just take them.
Yeah.
And then we just work with them, and they're never bad. Like you work with them, and we'll be surprised that they're the so-called badly behaved students, but we always turn them around, and yeah, it's good, it's rewarding. So yeah.
Do you? I mean, what are the common traits of the kids that you see with that are in the troubled list? Are they ADHD, and in previous eras they would have just been called mental? Are they,
Yeah,
dyslexics?
yeah, but sometimes it's just low self-esteem,
Yep.
low self-worth,
Mm-hmm.
and not knowing where to put their energy, not knowing areas to put their energy into, because no one's just sat down and just explained to them that they can do what they want to do. It's not going to be easy, but they just need to put the right energy into it.
So, I mean, like, have you had anyone that come through that's coming through the program now that's shown like a complete aptitude and a real talent for boxing, and they've, it's gone from maybe a little bit hit or miss and being a bit naughty to like, look, you've got a future with this?
Yeah. There's some kids that we was working with that training at the gym that I train at now. We've gone
Really?
from just being menaces to like there every week at the gym, like they're waiting at the door, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I've been working on this, like yeah, like it's good stuff.
That's really good. So
And
where does that
we've had
come from for you?
parents come in and tell us
Oh,
how they literally turned around in their behavior. They're not kind of truanting anymore and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good stuff.
do you have a rule set, which is like, you need a minimum requirement of, you know, it's one thing if someone's not doing well at school, if they're not academic. Do you have something that like, look, you got to turn up to school, you've got to do this, and this, otherwise, unfortunately, we can't have this program available to you? Or would
Oh
that kind
yeah,
of, yeah,
yeah. It's well, we break them in nicely. It's all fun, and then we introduce one of the weeks. We introduce like an accountability, well,
mm-hmm.
the subject of accountability, and from then, kind of, we have. It's not even strict rules. It's just certain things that we hold them accountable, or well, we make them hold themselves accountable to.
Yeah.
And if they can't do that, then they can't be on the program. But by then, they would have bought into it, so they like. Isn't we haven't had anyone that's like not wanting to hold themselves accountable because they're just not bothered.
That's wicked. So where does that come from for you? How have you become involved with this? I know you said your partner was a behavioral like mentor and stuff like that, but
Yeah, my
how have
business
you got
partner,
involved?
yeah, my business partner was basically my business partner used to work at a school that my mum worked at as
Right.
well, and
Yeah.
he just asked me to come in one week and see if I could do a boxing session with the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and we did it, and they loved it, and then it got to the point where they kept saying to him, when's Ekow coming back? Like, can we do another session? And then and then they also heard about me in newspapers and whatnot. So then it's kind of like becoming a little buzz. They wanted to be in this in crew of people
Yeah.
that did boxing with me and whatnot. So we kind of lightly talked about it. It was whilst I was
Mm-hmm.
on GB. We lightly talked about it, like maybe we should turn this into something. But then we just kept doing it over the years, and then eventually, Mike, my business partner, he wrote a intervention kind of curriculum and patented it. And then we just thought, you know what, we just need to do something with this. So we did.
Decent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like wonderful to hear, because like giving back is something everyone wants to do. Not that many people actually do. Most
Yeah.
people just
Yeah.
you use the time thing. Like hearing
Yeah.
someone like yourself, who I can't imagine you're too time rich. If you're not training, dealing with sponsors, etc., etc. It's wonderful to hear. How
Yeah.
mental was Nottingham this weekend?
Oh, it was crazy. I was there at the match. Yeah, it was a wicked atmosphere.
Mental,
Wicked.
wasn't it? As fights go, like there's not many better ones, are there? Like there's as good, but that was a phenomenal event, fight, the whole lot.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal fight. Yeah, I had had everything in the fight, really.
It really did. That's
Yeah.
one of the ones, if you sit someone down, they're not really into boxing, you put it on for them and then they'll get into it. And then the next one would be like a highly technical snoozer that you're like, yeah, that was sick. They're like, oh, I was so bored. Don't want this anymore. Like, that's the one that will ruin it for people.
Yeah. But exciting start. It was good in the mid rounds and obviously a climatic finish. So
The most climatic. When you punch someone out the ring, that's that done, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, you can't get more fine. Like, that's it, finished. I've got up off the floor and I've literally beat you out the ring. We're done now. Thank you very much. Cheers for coming, everyone. Hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, with your
how in the pre-fight press conference where he goes, if I haven't knocked you out by round 12, I'm gonna look at you and then I'm gonna knock you out. He did exactly that.
It's so nice. I mean, like, it's one of those ones. Like, Lee's one of them dudes, right? It's so nice to see him now at the level that we all knew he could be at.
Yeah.
And like, it's going to be the same with you. When you're around the levels now on the world level, it's going to be brilliant. Like, it's incredibly likable guy. You know, it is just exactly that. On the 29th, you'll call again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be at York. Yeah,
kind of a York bit of a G, isn't you? You quite like it there.
Well,
it's a classic spot. It's a classic spot.
Yeah, it is a classic spot. I fought there in the WSB and then just loved it after that. I was just like, I like it there. Yeah. So every time I get told, oh, you're in the show at York, I'm like, get it.
Boom. With what niche training methods do you have? Are you like I know obviously we've seen the wheelie bin full of ice, which seems miserable, mate. That's not fun. But like, are you a cryo guy? Are you?
Yeah, like, I do cryo as well. I've got a Kangen water machine at home. That's ionized water.
That might be witchcraft. I'm not even sure if that does anything, but if it feels like it does something, it don't matter, innit?
No, it does. It does. You just have to do your due diligence into it to see what it does. But if I explain it, it will sound crazy. But if you see the demonstrations and you do your due diligence, then yeah, it's good stuff. Okay. And then as well as that, my wife is Reformer Pilates. She owns a Reformer Pilates business.
Nice.
She has a one studio in Nottingham and opening another one in Loughborough in the coming months. And I'm also, at one point I got heavily into like hot pod yoga, but then I got into Reformer Pilates. That's how I met my wife. And yeah, that is something that's really big, really good. I'm an instructor in a business as well. Yeah.
Now, so when you met the wife, was it? Now, come on, listen. If you're in a Reformer Pilates class and you're meeting your bae, did you tie yourself up with the things like, oh my god, I need some help right now? How did that come to be? Because that's a pretty hard turnover, that one.
No, she actually just she made it hell for me because I was one of these guys like, oh, what's this gonna do? This
just giving it this on the machine. Like, I can do this all day, love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it was it's not as easy as it looks. But to be fair, it's like on this specialized carriage, so it's not like mat Pilates or anything.
Yeah, it's on the proper old school like ballet machine, isn't it?
Oh, they're crazy. Yeah, you can do a lot on them. Yeah.
Not for me. I'd die. I'm not flexible at all. Not for me at all. Guys, listen, I can't wait to see you back out on the 29th. Hype for it. I will be buying my day pass to BT Sport. I'm buzzing to see you. Best of luck. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, cheers.
Thank you, dude. I would love to have you back when the crew's all on. Like, everyone has been on like flights and AWOL and whatever. Like, when you're back, after the fight, we'll get you back on and we'll have like a proper one. We'll have a proper deep dive on the fight.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd like that, man.
Wicked, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome, man. Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Bye.